In the struggle for Vietnam's independence, two wars occurred between 1946 and 1975. The first war was fought between the Viet Minh and the French. By the end of 1954, after the Battle of Dien Bien Phu, the French had been defeated and their colony in Indochina destroyed. The essential question is, why did the Viet Minh win the First Indochina War?
The First Indochina War was significant because it was the conflict that ended French colonial control.
In November of 1946, the French attacked the port of Haiphong, sparking the First Indochina War. By December, the Viet Minh had escalated the conflict into a full-scale uprising, and the French were pouring troops into the region. Strategically, the French had the upper hand because of their strongholds in urban areas which contained valuable economically productive land. The Viet Minh, on the other hand, were forced to shelter in the highlands, areas that were little more than wilderness.
The highlands became places of refuge for the Viet Minh. The French changed their strategy in October and November of 1947 by launching a series of raids to capture Viet Minh leaders, but these raids were unsuccessful because the French had a difficult time navigating the dense highland terrain.
Another war to the north of Vietnam, the Chinese Civil War, was also taking place, influencing events in the south. In 1949, Mao Zedong and his communists won the Chinese Civil War, declaring the People's Republic of China. Vo Nguyen Giap became a Viet Minh military leader after joining the Indochinese Communist Party in 1931. He was highly educated and a graduate of Hanoi University. He is most notable for his victory at Dien Bien Phu.
Mao Zedong's victory was crucial to Viet Minh's success. Vo Nguyen Giap and his soldiers now had access to bases and to sophisticated military technology. With access to these new weapons, Giap switched his strategy to a more conventional form of warfare. At first, this was fairly successful, but then the Viet Minh suffered a few serious defeats outside of Hanoi and reverted back to guerrilla tactics. Warfare places emphasis on small raids, assassination, and sabotage. Often, guerrilla soldiers blend into the local population by not wearing uniforms, and this seemed to work well for the Viet Minh. In 1950, the Viet Minh learned that they could easily be defeated on the battlefield, but that even when this happened, they could go underground forever, and recover they did.
In 1954, Vo Nguyen Giap advanced into Laos. By 1953, the French had parachuted into Dien Bien Phu, located on the Vietnamese-Laos border, in an attempt to disrupt supply lines.
So you see, the French hoped to draw the Viet Minh to the site because they thought that their superior firepower, especially from air attacks, could overpower them in traditional battle, thereby returning strategic and political power to France. However, Giap was able to utilize civilian power to maintain supply lines and deliver food, weapons, and ammunition. And yes, we biked every day for months, and there were thousands of us over the many months, and we would bike through the jungle, and we would bring food and supplies to the brave Viet Minh fighting the white man.
Through the organization of Vietnamese civilians and the use of Chinese anti-aircraft artillery, the Viet Minh were able to overpower the French. This final battle marked the largest anti-colonial defeat the French had suffered since the late 1600s.
The French didn't expect to lose using conventional warfare tactics, but they did. This defeat weakened the French significantly, partly because Dien Bien Phu was a major supply base, but also because it underscored the shortcomings of their strategy, prompting them to make concessions at the Geneva Conference in May.